Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video we're going to be talking about the banner characters of version 2.0, the first half as well as the second half. We have ratings that we are going to tag onto every single one of these criteria: value, synergy, and versatility. Notice some of you will see like one half is win, one half is imaginary, because we're going to be commenting about the banners based on the character or the 5-star character that you're pulling for, because the rating is going to differ depending on which one you select. We want to reflect that to be more accurate in our representation, and I'll share with you like some of my thoughts as we go along the video as well. Regardless of whether you're free to play, you're pay to play, or you're just a person wanting to think whether you want to pull these banners, this is going to be a very generic video to help you gain a big understanding, a very quick understanding of the value you get from pulling these units as well. So first things first, let's start off with Black Swan, since she's on the left of this icon. If you want to talk about the value for this banner for Black Swan, I think it's a very clear A+, and let me give you a reason why. Huynh, very solid character to work with Black Swan. She's a DOT character in general, and if you think about after you have these two characters, for the landscape of like 2.0 is also going to get even better. We're not reflecting that in this rating, but you have a free 4-star selector where you can choose between 4 4-star units like Sample, Huynh, you have Yukong, as well as I think the last one was Esther, which means you can easily fill up your third slot regardless of whether you have Kafka or not, and you just slap in a healer in the last slot, you're more or less done. So that's not reflected in this rating, but I just want to say that that's the reason why you don't really need like many DOT characters here, and it still works very well. Tingyun, on the other hand, she might not be like super best with Black Swan, since DOT teams generally like to do damage across the board. Tingyun is more like a single target hyper carry. She is insane good value because you will be able to slot her in your second team very easily to find a lot of hyper carry DPS. Like you can find a character like Jingliu to some extent, Zila, Jingyuan. You can find Imbibitor Lunae. Most DPSs like Tingyun, and that's why I think she pushes up the value of this banner very significantly. I don't think it's an S because unfortunately I personally am not a super advocate of Misha yet. But a new character definitely still is much more higher value than other characters who are not as good but has been around for a really long time. So that's why I think the value is A+. Now on the flip side, if we go from like Black Swan over to Imbibitor Lunae, I think the value drops to an A. Because out of all of these characters, the only one that a player that doesn't play DOT probably will care about is probably only this Tingyun character here, which she is like carrying this entire banner if you are pulling for Imbibitor Lunae. This is super good value still though. Even though I say it's an A here, I think that this A is because of these two other units who are not as valuable in a sense. But Tingyun on her own, if you have Imbibitor Lunae, you have Tingyun, you're more or less good to go for quite a good duration of the game if you play like Imbibitor Lunae hyper carry. You can check out like our team comp videos. We talk about how to build teams if you have Sparkle, don't have Sparkle, whatnot. Good information for you to know as well. So A, because I don't think these two work as valuable for a character like Imbibitor Lunae, and I reflect that in my synergy rating also. I don't think these 4 characters synergize very well to form a team. If you guys are a brand new player just wanting to pull on a banner and slap them into the team, you won't find this banner as one of those banners that you can just like pull and immediately form a very strong team to complete your second half or something like that. So synergy value A, value here is also A. For Black Swan, if we go back on from Imbibitor Lunae to Black Swan, I think the synergy between the 4 of them is not very strong. But as mentioned, you can put Tingyun on the other half. Misha has yet to be seen, the roster and stuff, which I don't really... we'll talk about his team composition videos in a little bit. I think it's a bit iffy, but we'll touch through him later on as well. We're just talking about the value of the character so far. I think that synergy for this team is going to be very low for Black Swan teams, because the only one that you can work with Huynh, but regardless, you can just put Tingyun on the other half. I don't think you should be affected by this synergy as much. And overall, I think the versatility of this banner is very mediocre. I think other than Tingyun, you probably would be only finding value if you are playing a DOT with Huynh here with Black Swan, and that's my honest rating for the first half banner review. Let me know your thoughts as well. Now let's touch on the second half banner review for Sparkle and Jingyuan. This is the cast that we have seen. They actually didn't like announce it in the live stream, so I have to like search for it for a little bit. But we're going to get Sample, we're going to get Tingche and Hanya. Now these characters they do a lot of different things, which is a very strange like combination. Why did they put it in here? I have no idea why. But anyways, let's talk about the value first for Sparkle, who is really like a skill point buffer kind of harmony unit. I think the value for her is going to be an A, because in terms of pulling for this character, what you're really looking for is either a DPS, which Qingque is in this case. So Qingque is probably the best pick for Sparkle out of all of this. You want to get as many copies as Qingque as you can, because you can get her E6. She can actually carry quite a bit, for those of you who don't know. Very, very strong 4-star DPS. Works very nicely with Sparkle since she funnels that gacha-ness for her to just keep pulling her tiles and whatnot. But other than for these characters, Hanya as well as Sampo don't really have that much value in terms of if you don't play like DOT teams or specific teams and stuff like that. I don't think the value is like super high. I'll leave it as an A. A plus is possible, but I decided to just stick with an A rating for Sparkle. And if you're pulling for Yuan, I think the value is also pretty mediocre. A is A is a really nice one. I wanted to like give it a B also. I don't see like super a lot of value other than for the fact that you have Qingque here who you can gain a lot of Eidolons on. Sampo is also a decent DOT character. If you're pulling for the first half and then you are now pulling for the second half, you at least can get a lot of your Eidolons for characters that you want to play with. Like first half was Kuei Knife and second half is like Sampo, so you can stack up a lot of Eidolons for these characters. Of course, Hoyoverse didn't want to like just put them together, right? Save us some money resources. They wanted to stretch our wallets out a little bit. For synergy, I think that the synergy for this team for Sparkle is really an A. Other than for the fact that maybe you can run a hyper carry Qingque with Hanya here, Sampo just feels a little bit out of place. You don't really want to like put Sampo in a team together with Sparkle, at least not in my opinion at the current stage of the game. I think the synergy is like A, but you can of course run Sampo on the other half with like DOT team and stuff like that. For synergy for Qingque is even lower. I think it's a B. The only character that he wants to play on the same team probably will be Hanya, who have some sort of hyper carry kind of team composition. But other than that, feels very forced, and I don't think I will like it as much. I think the synergy for Qingque is a B here. And of course, last but not least, and if you guys are finding good value in this video so far, like and subscribe because we do this in every single patch. But versatility for both of them, I think I'll rate it as an A. Not the best banners that we have seen so far. Definitely better ones were around. If you don't have to pull on these two banners, I wouldn't recommend it. Like just building PT or whatever. I don't never recommend building PT. But yeah, not that great banners in totality. But a few outliers like Tingyun here if you really needed Tingyun. And of course Qingque if you want to build stacks on the islands of her. I think those two are like the clear standouts. And if you guys appreciate such content, check us out in the next video. We'll be talking a lot more about team compositions for Misha, the new banner characters, and whatnot too. See you in the next video.